hostiles.
Oh, hey, Bert. Hey, Bert, have you seen my rubber ducky lately?
Hello and welcome to Ware Gaming Weekly for the week of April 17th, 2019. My name is Nick, and alongside me is my brother for the second time tonight, Josh. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Little did you know, this is our second time recording this episode because something happened with the computer and the first file just went away. And so we had to record it again. And that's how the story's going to go. For your information, Ware Gaming Weekly posts every Wednesday on YouTube.com and on podcast services. And, of course, you can find more about us on WareGaming.com. And you can watch us stream live when we are active on twitch.tv/WareGaming_. You can write into us at weekly@WareGaming.com to be heard on the show. And you can tweet to us at WareGaming_ as well. This week we are talking a lot of PlayStation and a lot of Xbox because they've both been bringing out their guns. So we're going to start off with the who, what, and the where with some exclusive news about the PS5.
That's right.
From Wired.com. Now, you were saying before about this doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if it's unprecedented, but a story like this never happens. We never get this kind of confirmation beforehand about a console. Usually we don't hear anything but except rumors and speculation. And, you might hear a developer say something. You might hear, oh, Sony's working with AMD. But you never get this kind of candid, clear picture of what Sony is going to be doing, or anybody really is going to be doing, until they actually announce the console. So
right. So this is a little bit of a lengthy article, so make sure you pack a lunch. I cut down some of it, so make sure you go over to Wired and click on his article. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and this is just the bare minimum. So, the video game console that Sony has spent the past 4 years building is no mere upgrade. You'd have a good reason for thinking otherwise. Sony and Microsoft both extended the current console generation via a mid-cycle refresh, with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 spawning mini sequels, the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. The key question, Mark Cerny says, is whether the console adds another layer to the sorts of experiences you've already access to, or if it allows for fundamental changes in what a game can be. If history is any guide, it will eventually be dubbed the PlayStation 5. For now, Cerny responds to that question and many others with an enigmatic smile. The next-gen console, as he refers to it repeatedly, won't be landing in stores anytime in 2019. A number of studios have been working with it, though, and Sony recently accelerated its deployment of dev kits so that the game creators will have the time they need to adjust to its capabilities. As he did with the PS4, Cerny acted as lead systems architect for the coming system, integrating developers' wishes and his own gaming hopes into something that's much more revolution than evolution. For the more than 90 million people who own PS4s, that's good news indeed. Sony's got a brand new box. The GPU, a custom variant of Radeon's Navi family, will support ray tracing, a technique that models the travel of light to simulate complex interactions in 3D environments. While ray tracing is a staple of Hollywood visual effects and is beginning to worm its way into high-end processors and NVIDIA's recently announced RTX line, no game console has been able to manage it yet. According to Cerny, the applications go beyond graphic implications. If you wanted to run tests to see if players can hear certain audio sources or if the enemies can hear players' footsteps, Ray tracing is useful for that, he says. It's all the same thing as taking a ray through the environment. I asked him about PSVR, the peripheral system that sold more than 4 million units since its 2016 release. Specifically, I asked if there will be a next-gen PSVR to go along with this next console. I won't go into details of our VR strategy today, he says, beyond saying that VR is very important to us and that the current PSVR headset is compatible with the new console. There's something else that excites Cerny even more, something that he calls a true game changer, something that more than anything else is the key to the next generation. It's a hard drive. Starting in the fall of 2015, when Cerny first began talking to developers about what they'd want from the next generation, he heard it time and time again. I know it's impossible, but can we have a solid-state drive? Solid-state drive has been available in budget laptops for more than a decade, and the Xbox One and PS4 both offer external solid-state drives that claim to improve load times. But not all solid-states are the same. As Cerny points out, I have a solid-state in my laptop, and when I want to change from Excel to Word, I can wait 15 seconds. What's built into Sony's next-gen console is something a little more specialized. The next-gen console will still accept physical media. It will not be a download-only machine. Because it's based part in the PS4's architecture, it will also be backward compatible with games for that console. As in many other generational transitions, this will be a gentle one, with numerous games being released for both PS4 and the next-gen console.
So this is huge news.
Yes.
Getting a solid-state drive, getting PS4 backwards compatibility. It does not rule out the possibility of further backwards compatibility.
So I think if they do anything more, it would probably be through the PS Now or interface like that. I can't imagine putting your PS3 disc in anymore.
Sure, I don't know. I mean, based on some of the patents we saw, they were talking about tricking the CPU into reading the discs. So. But the only confirmation we have is PS4 discs will work. Solid state drives, which are incredibly fast. I mean, it's basically a large flash drive in layman's terms. So basically, you plug in a flash drive and you can instantly access your files. So being able to, we were talking about this earlier with our hopes for the next generation is get rid of load times. Let's see an improvement in like AI and things like that. And if this eliminates or minimizes the amount of time you're going to be sitting waiting, it might help developers focus on other areas that could be processor heavy, but because you don't have the spinning disk and a hard drive, it's they can reallocate. It
simplifies something.
Right, it can reallocate, and clearly he was saying the developers want this.
Right.
So, having an SSD in there is great.
Another thing that I didn't put into this, but is worth noting, is talking about how he was using an example of Insomniac's Spider-Man game and playing it on a PS4. I can't remember if it was a Pro or if it was traditional, but the PS4, and then playing it on a dev kit of the PS5, and talking about how if you were to fast travel the way it is now, you wait about 15 seconds. Something they mentioned before. You wait about 15 seconds before you load up into the next area. But with the dev kit, they will do it in 0.8 seconds.
Yeah.
And
right.
so to me that's just incredible.
Yep.
And they talked about how it can, because of this, they can render the world quicker. You can travel faster without losing quality in the visuals. It's just a whole lot of things. Now, what I'm curious is, it doesn't sound cheap.
No, solid state drives are not cheap. You can't pack a PS4 or a PS5 with a tiny hard drive, so it's got to be a terabyte. I can't imagine them sending it out with a 500 gigabyte hard drive because, I mean, if you got Red Dead Redemption, that's 100 gigabytes. That's a fifth of your hard drive.
Right.
I mean, even at a terabyte, that's a tenth of your hard drive. It's huge. So
I think a paragraph that I left out. Okay, I thought it might have said something about what it is. Basically saying, Red Dead Redemption 2 clocked in at 99 gigabytes for the PS4 loading screen and stuff like that. So you're right. Like whatever this point is getting to is alluding to that. It's like it has to be enough to help.
Yeah, I think at least a terabyte. And I just bought a solid state drive for the desktop, and it's only a 480 gigabyte cheap. I got it cheap on Amazon for like $60.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're talking half of that is 60, so twice that is $120 for a hard drive, and that's not even the hard drive he's talking about. He's talking about like a beefy hard drive, so maybe double that.
Mm-hmm.
So half the cost of a console for just a hard drive.
Right.
Just theoretically, surely they'll have deals in place or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but with Sean Layden's comments earlier this year at CES or in an interview talking about some of the failures they had during the PS3 era, talking about coming out at $600, I can't imagine that they'll hit $600, but it can't be $400, especially if the controller is going to have a screen,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know that they'll do. Based on some rumors going around, there's a mock-up of some kind of PS5 controller that's got a blurry screen or whatever. But if it does have a screen, like the patent was talking about, I mean, I don't think it could be $400 unless they have two SKUs, which I don't know if you want to launch with two SKUs because that just splits the market and makes it confusing.
See, I have a hard time thinking it's going to be $500. I mean, I think your reasoning is right. I mean, it makes sense, but it just sounds like so much money that, I mean, it's not $600, but
yeah,
when it's all said and done, I mean, is 500? Is it worth it to you? Do you think if it's got everything it says?
If it's doing exactly what it says, we were asking for shorter load times. If developers can use that to their advantage and make it fast and snappy and more robust games, and make it look like you couldn't have done this before. And since it's backwards compatible, if I could put in Red Dead Redemption and fast travel all over the place or whatever, load it up and just be playing the game, that would be worth it with the solid state drive. If they have to make cuts towards the end of the development here, and like, well, the base model right now is only going to be able to have a normal hard drive because it's just going to cost too much, or maybe they got a hold of a whole ton of a great contract for these solid state drives that they can keep the cost down. But I still don't think you can do it for less than $500.
What would be what would it have to be for you not to get it? Like, what would the price point have to be for you not to get?
I think $600. Again, I wanted to save up for the PS3, and get it day one, but I would have regretted it because, it really wasn't all that powerful. But the difference was, the PS3 was sold at a loss, even at $600, because of all the R&D for developing the cell processor and things like that. The PS4 was built on PC architecture, like a mid-range PC for the time, so it was able to sell at a profit, which was the first time that really happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd imagine they want to try to do that here, but depending on on how it runs, they actually might take this as a loss.
Well, one thing is for sure, they have to, whatever it is they come out with, it can't be, it has to be as good as, or if not better than the Xbox One X.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely going to be past that, but my question now is, what's Microsoft's going to be like?
I believe one of the bullet points said something about supporting 8K and all that stuff.
Yeah. There was. It'll support 8K, of course, in that many TVs.
Well, no, not right now,
but yeah.
So
they're in it for the long
it'll definitely be more powerful than the Xbox One X.
Well, no, but I also just mean I'm curious what Xbox is going to do next to make it equally as.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're off to the races.
Yeah. Now, what'll also be interesting is because the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X have $100 price difference. If Xbox comes out with a console,
that's $400.
Well, no. Well, yeah. But I was also thinking because I feel like Microsoft won't because they're Microsoft, they're known for computers. I feel like they can't come out with something that isn't at least as good as what this might be.
Yeah.
And so if they do that,
See,
if
see
they
that,
come out
that
with the $600,
see that's the big uh, uh, risk of coming out early, like and doing this interview, and just kind of laying out what they're doing, and the Xbox can either shift gears or now the ball's in their court. They have until E3 presumably to make changes to make it even more compelling on top of all their services.
I think the compelling thing will be, I think the compelling thing will be that it will probably be cheaper. Whatever they come out with, it has to be cheaper.
Xbox is typically, other than the 360, I mean, when I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the generation it was 400, 500.
Yeah.
And then PS4 Pro and Xbox One X were $100. I'm pretty sure $100 difference. So, and with PS4 with the Pro under the X. So I think generally Sony is sold at $100 less than Xbox. So it probably is on Xbox to come down in price, but will they beat Sony or will they be happy being at the same price?
I don't know. I also have to admit that I was wrong. I could have sworn that this wasn't gonna have backwards compatibility based off
Proved you
history.
wrong.
So, but while we don't know much, we won't know much more about PS5 for a while. We might know about Xbox pretty soon. Why don't you take this away?
Excuse me. So the Xbox E3 2019 press conference set for June 9th by Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Microsoft is promising its biggest E3 presence ever at E3 2019 and will kick off this year's expo with the company's annual Xbox E3 briefing on Sunday, June 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. The Xbox E3 2019 briefing will stream live on the official Xbox Mixer channel, as well as other unannounced platforms. You can expect Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook to carry the stream.
I read it that way too. I'm like, to carry all the stream.
Yeah. The Xbox team promises updates on unannounced titles coming in 2019, and in-depth looks at previously announced games during the press conference. Xbox's upcoming lineup includes marquee titles like Halo Infinite and Gears 5.
That's about it.
Yep. We're also likely to get updates on games from the many studios Microsoft has acquired over the past year. Company added Undead Labs, Ninja Theory, Obsidian Entertainment, Compulsion Games, and Playground Games to its internal studios over the past year and founded an all-new one, The Initiative. There's also a very good chance that Microsoft will give us our first look at the next Xbox or heavily hint at what it's capable of, especially now that Sony has lifted the veil on the PlayStation 5. We're also likely to hear more finalized details on Project xCloud, Microsoft's game streaming platform. Microsoft will follow up Sunday's E3 keynote with a special episode of Inside Xbox, its streaming showcase for all things Xbox. Inside Xbox Live at E3 will air Monday, June 10th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and promises exclusive announcements, game demos, interviews, and more. So, Sony, you're not going to take up the slot. We'll take up Sunday and Monday. Bring it.
I'm thinking about this. I'm curious if...
So, Sunday is for Halo and Monday is for Gears. Because they only got 2 games.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking was if they have their press conference and then they have this Inside Xbox talking about announcements, demos, do you think that the press conference is just going to be like exclusively hardware talk and then maybe... Because I'm like, what's the point?
No, they said it's going to promises updates on unannounced titles. So new, so what was it? Exclusive, Xbox exclusive,
console exclusive.
Yep. And so unannounced titles and in-depth looks at previously announced games.
Okay.
So that's I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of both. Maybe a little bit in-depth look at what the initiative is doing since they may not have anything to show from the initiative, since it's such a new studio, they're still
Mm-hmm.
putting things together over there. Maybe more interview type stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to some of the, maybe get some weird ideas that they're coming up with over there.
Yeah. I feel like out of these companies, out of these studios right now, um, I don't know. We just had Senua's Sacrifice. Well, not just, but
Was that
Ninja Theory.
2016?
Yeah, Ninja Theory. Obsidian's working on the Outer Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and so even if they are working on something else, that's their priority.
Right.
And Compulsion, which did We Happy Few, I don't really know, like, what their caliber. Like, I mean, they got to be working on something, but what kind of? I feel like if we're going to hear anything from anybody, it's probably going to be Ninja Theory. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Or Playground.
Well, Playground. They'll probably talk about another Forza.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's.
Well, I mean, they're supposed to be working on Fable.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
their game right now.
That's right.
Supposedly.
But
I don't know if that's ever been confirmed.
Yeah. Undead Labs is a State of Decay guy, so they may or may not be talking about more State of Decay news or upcoming DLC or whatever. Ninja Theory, like you said, Senua's Sacrifice. They might be at a state at this point. It's been 2 years to start showing something, a preview or at least a logo or something. Obsidian Entertainment, the Outer Worlds, the RPG Fallout, because they're the original creators of Fallout.
Right.
So, and Fallout New Vegas, I'm pretty sure was them, as well as the South Park Stick of Truth, the first one. So, they may have another, team working on something exclusively, or they had something in the pipeline that after Microsoft bought them up, that they'll have exclusively for Xbox. But again, the Outer Worlds is not going to be exclusive because it's I think a partnership with 2K.
Something weird.
Take-Two, not Take. One of them.
One of those. Another thing I think is interesting. So to put a bow on that is, it says that we're likely to get updates from them. We have to get something from one of them to show that their investment is like proving itself.
Right.
But I mean, we won't hear anything from the initiative. I think you already said that. But
yeah, the initiatives they're building it from the ground up. So unless I don't know who's actually running the whole thing.
For some reason, I want Amy to be on Amy Hennig. I keep
Yeah.
imagining that she's there.
Yeah.
Even though there's no reason for her to be there. Well,
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
for me to think that.
So they're a brand new studio. We the only thing we can kind of guess is they'll do something like a third-person action adventure type of game.
Yeah.
I think they've already said that's kind of like the direction they want to head.
Right.
So,
another thing I think is interesting is that this information came out after the PS5 information that we just read.
yeah.
So I think there was an Inside Xbox today, which is where most of this came from. But I guess I'm just curious. I'm always curious about how
The timing?
how stuff works like that, because this is a lot of information. I mean, this write-up has had to have been done a while for the marketing team to, like, what I think has happened. I have no idea. I'm just speaking from ignorance, but I think that they probably have known this for a while.
Yeah.
They wrote up a press release, and then when they see someone moving, they see the enemy coming up. They're like, hit the trigger.
Well, yeah, but this is a write-up from. This isn't from Xbox. This is.
Well, no, but I know what you. Yes.
Yeah,
but
Inside Xbox is. They usually announce those a couple weeks, a month or so in advance. So they already have what's going on, but it's both companies are on the same trajectory. So, Cerny having an interview with the Wired magazine or whatever is probably just coincidence because they're at around the same spot like they were originally with the PS4. And,
Yeah.
they both realize that the current generation is coming to an end.
Right.
And so they've got to gear up for next. And yeah, so
some more big PlayStation news. This happened last week after we recorded our episode, of course. But you can now officially change your PSN ID. I pulled this right from the PlayStation blog. We are excited to announce that the online ID change feature on PSN is officially launched. You'll also be to all PS4 owners. You'll also be able to change your online ID via a web browser, and that feature will also be available. Is already available. You won't be able to do it on the PS3 or your Vita. Um, but they also want to clarify a couple of points. As a result of the preview program, we found an instance where a game did not fully support the feature, even though it was originally published after April 1st, 2018, which is the date that they said all games should work. Um, Again, all PS4 games originally published on or after April 1st, 2018, have been developed to support the online ID change feature. However, since they have not all been tested with the feature, we cannot guarantee that they will support it. For more details and information, we encourage you to refer to the list of tested games before making a change to your online ID. Do keep in mind that the large majority of most actively played games support the feature. The first change is free, and changes after that will cost $9.99 US. For PlayStation Plus members, it will cost $4.99 US each time. When changing your online ID, you'll have the option to display your old ID next to your new one for 30 days. This will make it easier for your friends to notice your ID change, and you can only select this option at the time you are changing your online ID. Your old online ID is only available to you. So if you decide to change and you want to go back, you'll be able to. But if you were hoping for someone else's, you won't be able to have it.
Yeah.
You can revert back to any of your previous online IDs as long as those IDs do not violate the terms of service. Some of the issues that you may encounter. Your previous online ID may remain visible to you and other players in some areas. This is different than you electing to it. Sometimes it might just be there.
Mm-hmm.
You may lose progress within games, including game save data, leaderboard data, and progress toward trophies. Parts of your game and applications may not function properly, both online and offline, and you may lose access to content, like including paid-for content that you have acquired for your games, including add-on and virtual currency. So
basically, after April 1st, 2018, most games should support the features. Like they said, most of the big games, I think Destiny, Division were all listed. It's the older games, obviously, like PS3 and Vita, not supported. So if you go back and play those, your old ID will be there. And I know they said a lot of these problems typically can be resolved by reverting back to the old ID, but that may not be the case for purchased items and things like that, and save data that may just be lost. You can go to the website. They have a list of all the games they've tested, and just make sure you want to change if you really want to.
You've in the past talked about changing, but do you think you're gonna do it?
I don't know, maybe. But I know my JOS 1015 isn't available, and since I've already claimed JOS 1015 underscore, I can't use that. I grabbed it hoping I could change to it if I deleted it, but that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can't do JOS 1015 underscore, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of going to wait a little while to see if there's any like major screw ups. I'm not really worried about PS3 trophies I'm missing or early PS4 trophies I'm missing. So as long as the games I'm playing, Destiny 2 or things like that, I don't lose anything for. I don't see why I wouldn't, but I'm just gonna wait and see.
The only reason I would change because Inferno 141, it's not a terrible name and it's not a fantastic name, but it is what it is. I don't cringe every time someone says it, but the only reason I'd want to change it is to have a unified.
Yeah, that's the same for me. Is I don't hate my name. It's just we made it when we first got the PS3, and now it doesn't reflect on all my other. I think my ID was already taken at the time, so I couldn't use it.
Right.
So,
maybe you can buy JAWS 1015 from the guy who has it.
Yeah. Additionally, I heard. So if your ID that you try to change to violates their terms, so it gets submitted or whatever, and if you get it back and it's violated their terms of conditions or whatever, it'll actually change the ID to temp XXXX, and so you'll have to go in and redo it.
Oh.
Now, if your old ID has been
Violated.
has violated and been turned to temp XXXX, you'll have to start right there and work through and create a whole new name that doesn't violate. It's a similar thing, but they said it was like two different case scenarios. Oh, because if the new one will turn into temp XXXX, but it'll revert you back to your old one. So you'll still have that new slot to change it to whatever you want. I guess so. If you paid for it, you don't have to pay for it again. You just have to change it.
I see.
Whereas the old one, you'll have to change it before you can log back in.
Gotcha.
I think that was the case, but you might have to double check. It wasn't big enough to grab. It was just hey. All right. So we finally got our first look at Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order. It should say The Fallen Order. It just says Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. A single-player game starring a Jedi survivor. This is Zach Zwiezen
From
Kotaku. At Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, Respawn Entertainment, makers of Apex Legends and Titanfall, showed off their next game, Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order. The game will star Cameron Monaghan as Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66 and the destruction of the Jedi Order. Monaghan is best known for his roles in Gotham and Shameless. During the panel, Respawn Entertainment revealed more details about the upcoming game. Cal is hiding from the Empire after the fall of the Jedi and is working as a salvager on a new Star Wars planet named Bracca.
Sounds like a Mortal Kombat character.
That's Baraka. This is without the first A.
Okay.
It's just Bracca. He will have a small droid companion with him, BD-1. I originally thought it was BB-1 because there's BB-8 or BB-88. So this is BD.
Is it BB-88? I think it's BB-8.
I thought it was BB-88.
No, it's just 8. BB-8.
Okay. Anyway, this is BD.
Some Star Wars fan you are.
Yeah. Cal will also have a former Jedi Knight as his mentor and friend.
So they both survived.
Yes. She is being played by actress Deborah Wilson. Respawn Entertainment wants a combat system that is easy to pick up, but will also have a lot of depth to it. It was described as thoughtful combat. What does that mean? They're saying players will have to use all of their abilities and moves to succeed in combat. The game will introduce many new planets and characters into the Star Wars universe, according to Respawn, which apparently has worked closely with Disney and Lucasfilm. Among the cast will be Purge troopers, melee-focused variant of stormtroopers that are created to hunt down Jedi who survived Order 66. According to Respawn, these troopers have actually appeared in Star Wars comics already, and will also appear in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Before the event, EA revealed the game would be single player only, will not contain any microtransactions, and will have no loot boxes. This was reconfirmed during the panel by Respawn Entertainment CEO Vince Zampella. The game is also being built on Unreal Engine 4. The game is being directed by Stig Asmussen, who led the development of God of War 3. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will be released for PS4, Xbox One, and PC on November 15th, 2019.
It's here.
It's
coming.
It's coming. The trailer looked really cool. It was just a story trailer, so there was no gameplay or whatever. But story for a Star Wars game, story is the most important.
Right.
Obviously, gameplay should be fun, and I trust Respawn to do the right thing, do well here, but it is very different for them. They're a multiplayer focused first-person shooter, and this is a single player only third-person melee combat game. So
I'm curious how it'll feel because we have Stig who directed God of War 3. Now, I mean, no, that might give us an idea of, that gives us an idea of his experience.
Yeah.
But he's also done more than that. I think he did an Assassin's Creed game too. I think so. but that's not to say that this is gonna feel like God of War 3 because that's not really a 2019 game anymore.
Mm-mm.
I think the term thoughtful combat is probably, I mean, to me, easy to learn, difficult to master sort of thing.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like, I don't know if it could be like today's God of War, because today's God of War is easy to play, but it's about how you play it.
Yeah.
It's about using all of the different aspects of his powers, of his abilities, to rack up combos, to really,
Or like Spider-Man.
or like Spider-Man. But I feel, well, it's gonna be a weird thing because I don't know what I want. I don't know what would be good, but based off the trailer, he is a lot more agile. It's not slow and steady.
What if it's a difficult Kingdom Hearts?
That would be good.
Because we've always
as long as
said,
it's square.
especially since Kingdom Hearts 2, that the guys who do Kingdom Hearts could do a lightsaber game.
Because it's Unreal.
Yeah, because the Keyblade fighting, especially like at the end where they're like dodging the lasers or whatever in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I mean, Xehanort has Keyblades. Or
Yeah, has lightsabers. So, and it feels really good. So I've always thought that would be a good developer to do it, but it's a little easy. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is easy. So if they were to ramp up the difficulty to, I guess, like the critical mode or whatever, for a Star Wars, I think that'd
be a good start for sure.
Yeah.
And what do you think about? There's been a lot of conversations lately about, Star Wars is such a huge world with different characters and races and aliens, and that you still feel like the most important people we ever play as are just humans.
Humans, yeah, white humans.
White humans, white guys.
Well, we had a woman in the Battlefront 2 campaign. I don't know if I don't think it's intentional. I mean, you have dozens of different people putting these stories together, and most of the people putting these stories together are white men, and they see themselves. We as Star Wars fans, we want to see ourselves in Star Wars, so that's just a narrow-sighted way of writing, but that's just the game they want to make now. I don't have, a place to comment on, the state of, diversity in these games, but clearly there's lacking. But I don't know that should detract from what this game is being made. I think that's something that to be explored and needs to be addressed in games as a whole, but I don't know that it should necessarily demonize or vilify, or we should look at this negatively because, it's just a white guy. But
I think it can be. I think you're right.
I think he was like, I think if we're, we are, as long as we're being vocal and saying, hey, we would like to see
this too.
Yeah, we would like to see this too. We have movies now that feature women instead of feature a prominent woman instead of a prominent man. Of course, it's still kind of Luke Skywalker, but it's really focused on Rey.
Right.
So I think as long as we keep pushing this diversity,
it'll naturally.
Well, we don't want to we don't want to like sit on our laurels and let let them. But I don't think we should detract from the.
What's a Yanny? How do you sit on your Yanny? Is that supposed to be like Fanny? Anyway,
but so I mean, I understand the the complaint and the point. It's clear that that's the case. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can enjoy something and also want something, and I think that's also why Star Wars is probably the perfect role-playing RPG where you can do a Mass Effect. I mean, that's I mean, to be able to be any race, gender, color, whatever,
or alien or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for it though. I'm interested to see what happens at E3.
Sure.
All right. So some different kind of news. This is actually kind of frustrating to hear, but I think it's important to bring up. Telltale co-founder says crunch was necessary to keep studio afloat. This is from Samuel Horty at PC Gamer. Over the past 12 months, multiple former employees of The Walking Dead developer Telltale Games, which closed down last year, have told stories about the brutal crunch culture within the studio. Narrative designer Rachel Noel has spoken of 80-hour work weeks, and this week another former narrative designer, Emily Grace Buck, told Game Informer that last-minute changes to games mandated crunch for a huge percentage of the studio. Following that report, studio co-founder and former CEO Kevin Brunner told the publication that working at Telltale was trial by fire, but that crunch was necessary to keep the studio afloat for as long as possible. For other studios, it happens all the time in games where our release is this fall, and then the studios will announce that fall, oh, you know what? The game wasn't ready. We pushed it out until next spring. And that really wasn't something that Telltale could do, he said. We didn't have the budgets to delay productions that long, and we didn't have the cushion. Brunner, who left Telltale in 2017, said that crunch was really hard to manage because employees were determined to make their games a success, but that ultimately the quality of the output outweighed the negatives of crunch. I'm not saying it was easy, but the fact that so many people made really compelling, really great, highly regarded content, to me, makes it seem like Telltale was a nurturing place, he said. It was trial by fire, but there were definitely opportunities to succeed there, and many, many people did. I take a lot of pride in that, but it cuts both ways. Succeeding there was hard. Earlier this week in Game Informer's original report, Brunner suggested that the studio tried to create an environment where employees had to work long hours to survive. For me, at an executive level, all the way down to the animator, if you see an opportunity to make a game better and you know it's going to ship in a week and you care about the content, it's really hard to walk away from the content and just say, you know what, this is as good as it's going to get, I'm going home. We tried to create an environment where you really had to do that to survive at Telltale because we didn't have these 3-year long production cycles.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is a bullshit statement from someone who didn't run the company well.
Right.
I mean, the line here, they had to create an environment where you had to work crunch hours all the time because they didn't have any capital to keep going.
Right.
Like, what was it? Because employees were determined to make. No, it was.
Which
was
part?
It was there was a place. There was a way to succeed. Okay. It was trial by fire, but there were definitely opportunities to succeed there, and many, many people did, except everybody who got laid off and told to get out of the building in 30 minutes.
Right.
Because there was no backup plans. They didn't own anything. They licensed everything they did. Their engine was terrible from day one, but they couldn't allocate resources to fix it because they overbooked themselves.
Right.
They didn't do anything original. The stories were. I'm not saying that the stories they made were bad. I love Walking Dead. Clementine's amazing, but they clearly mismanaged this whole ordeal.
Right.
The fact that you created an environment where you had to work like crazy, or you were basically going to let go because the games had to be good, or they weren't going to sell, and the studio was going to close, and that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't the games were bad. They lost their funding and the studio closed.
Right.
And
so all this hard work people put in that made them succeed just didn't.
And so, Brunner, I don't want to speak ill of Brunner, but what he's saying here is bullshit. And treating employees like that, trial by fire. Work 80 hours a week or I'm going to fire you and get someone who's going to do it.
It's the way he phrases this here. I didn't look at it this way the first time, but I read this. But it almost feels like he's saying it wasn't his fault.
He's saying the employees were determined to
They were just so good that we had to do it. Is what it felt like.
They wanted to make the game a success, which clearly they did. These developers are passionate, and they wanted, but they assumed in many of the interviews that Telltale would have their back, and they didn't.
I'm not saying it was easy, but the fact that it's like it wasn't easy, but they made it hard because they were really good, and so because they were really good and made good content, we overbooked them because
instead
We
of
thought we were creating a good environment
instead
for
of
them.
keeping it, their slate moderate. Let's say we're going to do The Walking Dead, we're going to do Tales from the Borderlands, and then we're going to create something on our own. They licensed 25 different brands, try to get them all out in 2 years, and then not fix their engine, not do anything like that. Then finally, when like the funding falls through,
And when they decide they're gonna pull it back, it's too late.
yeah. So
It's a
this is a sad, I feel bad for the developers. I have since the original story of them closing broke, but that's just a bad statement, and he should have just not said anything.
Yeah.
But that just shows that there's a bad culture of crunch in some of these places.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was mad about that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It reminds me of every time we have this kind of conversation. It's just like, when's it gonna give?
yeah.
Like, I understand having long hours. I understand there are weeks where it's just like,
If he was like, I don't want them to work that long, but the company was going to fail. And as an executive, maybe maybe I should have pulled back on the reins at some point. And
well, and none of them even knew it was that bad. It seems
Yeah.
like, at least.
it was like, oh, we don't have a job anymore, and we have to clear out our desk and exit the building in 30 minutes.
Right.
Oh, and in 30 days, we don't have, or at the end of the month, we don't have health insurance anymore. It just mismanaged top to bottom. And like I said, the games were great. I only played The Walking Dead, but I know the Tales of the Borderlands.
I
know
like the Batman game.
the Batman game. I mean, Clementine's story is amazing. And I'm not speaking of the game or the developers that, worked hard to make the games as good as they were. It's just clearly the management missed. So,
Making a hard right turn.
hard right turn into back to Xbox. This is really good news, actually, I think. Microsoft announces Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Rebecca Valentine at gamesindustry.biz. Today, during Inside Xbox, head of gaming services Ben Decker announced a new subscription service that combines the benefits of Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass called Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The single membership subscription will cost $14.99 per month and gives subscribers access to Xbox Game Pass library of over 100 games, as well as the Xbox Live Gold's online services. The subscription will launch later this year and is not a required upgrade. Those subscribed to either Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass can keep their current memberships as they are, $10 a month apiece, or opt to apply any balance they've already paid towards an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Members of the Xbox Insider Program are able to begin testing the service in select markets beginning today. And honestly,
really cool.
there's no reason not to do this. Unless you're not someone who plays online and you don't have Xbox Gold, maybe you just get Game Pass. Of course, I don't know if you can. Can you do Game Pass?
I mean, I guess
I don't know
you
the details, but I guess it says you can have one or the other. So if you only have one, you don't have to do this. But if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, put them both together and you save $5.
Yeah.
Like there's literally no reason to do that. On top of that, with Xbox Gold, you get like 2 to 4 free games every month. So
and then so over 100 games as well as 4 free.
Yeah, no reason not to do this.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before that in the next generation, stuff like this, like instead of having 5 different subscription services for your PlayStation or your Xbox, you just have the one that rolls in, or at least options.
Yeah.
And I think this says to me that for PlayStation, if they are getting serious about PlayStation View, PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, like
they got to step up their options.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox is making all the right moves. They've got the services. They have the capability of making a piece of hardware that's just as powerful as what they're talking about for PS5, and they've got a number of studios ready to make games for them that they've got a chance to at least come out competitive
for next generation. But right now, it's not looking so good. Well, it's
Yeah.
not looking terrible. It was kind of like a whimper.
Yeah, this is a
Microsoft has unveiled their
stumble.
discless Xbox One S All Digital Edition for $249. This is from Tom Warren at TheVerge.com. Microsoft is making its discless Xbox One S official today. After weeks of leaks, the software maker is unveiling the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, which is priced at $249 and will be available on May 7th. This is a new model that will be sold alongside the original Xbox One S and the more powerful Xbox One X. The big selling point here is that the All Digital Edition will not ship with the Blu-ray drive, cutting the price slightly by $50. Microsoft is including a 1 terabyte hard drive on this new digital model alongside digital versions of Forza Horizon 3, Sea of Thieves, and and Minecraft in the box. The hardware is exactly the same as the existing Xbox One S consoles, just without the 4K Blu-ray drive. This is a quote. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition is $50 less than the Xbox One S, and we expect to maintain at least this price difference between the two consoles, explains Jeff Gaddis, General Manager of Platform and Devices Marketing at Microsoft. This is $50 less than the recommended retail price of $299 for the existing Xbox One S, but there are regularly bundled deals available for around $230.
Mm-hmm.
It's not clear if we'll see similar bundles for this digital version.
This is a miss.
It's a miss because who is it for? Like,
Yeah, I mean, when this came out, of course, this is what I said it would be. When they first said they were going to take out the disc drive, I said, "What is that worth? $50?"
right?
And clearly, it was worth $50. But if they wanted to knock this out of the park, they have to hit under $200.
Yeah.
$199, $149. This thing would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Take this at a loss. This is just the 1S. It's not even the 1X.
Yeah.
So it's the standard all digital edition, or $249 and include a whole year of the Xbox Game Pass. It comes with
the Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, it comes with Forza Horizon 3, Sea of Thieves, and Minecraft. I think all those are on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So just give me Game Pass for a year, and of course I don't know if the 1 terabyte is larger than the standard 1S.
I'm not sure.
I don't know about that, but $249 at $250, I could spend $50 more and get a Switch.
Yeah.
Or I can wait for a deal and get an Xbox One S.
Yeah.
With a couple games or 2 controllers or.
Now, like I wouldn't mind having an all digital console, with the exception that I like having a DVD player.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
But if we were going, if you or I were going to get an Xbox at this point, this would have been the one.
But I'm not going.
Not for $250 because I would just get me a Switch instead of sharing yours.
Right.
So.
And I think about the person who goes to GameStop and doesn't necessarily. I mean, of course, they'll see discless, Xbox or all digital.
They'll be like me, and they're all discless. I have to buy the games.
Yeah. And then hopefully if you're buying this for your kid who says he wants an Xbox, and you get it. Of course, I would hope the clerk at GameStop would tell you, well, you can't use these games.
Yeah, but the clerk, one of the old ladies at Target's not going to know the difference.
No. And for all you're buying the games for a different reason. So it creates a lot of confusion, and plus you kind of get into the argument with the Google Stadia stuff. It's like, what if I don't have great internet? What if this? But I guess you don't really need great internet to download games.
Yeah. They'll download eventually.
Yeah. But I still think there's a barrier that people who aren't invested in the games economy or games ecosystem like we are would not. I feel like there's an expectation of getting into video games as a general consumer that this would disrupt that experience. I think. I'm not trying to patronize people who aren't as into video games, but I feel like the people who would get this, I can't peg a certain person who's like, oh, this is who it's for.
I mean,
because if you're into games, then
why am I saving $50 when I could get the one that has the 4K Blu-ray drive?
Right, so I can watch all my movies.
Yeah.
Or if you're really into the Xbox system, then you'd get the.
But if you waited this long, why are you going to spend $300 on a new console, $250 on a new
Within a
console,
year, you're gonna.
when next year we're going to get $500 consoles that I need to save that 250 for?
Right.
If 150 is almost an impulse buy
Yeah.
for a tech product. So
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know. I feel like it's just a bit of a miss.
If they wanted
unfortunate, but
yeah, like if they were trying to capitalize on the end of the cycle, like, PlayStation's not gonna get down to 150.
no.
Would never go down to 150. I don't know if it's even down. Well, I think you can get a PS4 base PS4 for 199 now,
Yeah, I think so.
which then is like,
The slim model.
yeah, and at this point it's like, well, then why would
Yeah, I can get a PS4.
I wanna double check that. If I go to Amazon, just because I feel like
I mean,
I
I
might
could
be
probably,
lying.
if I wanted to, I could probably go get an Xbox for $200 somewhere. Honestly, $230. Like they're saying, you can regularly get them for less than 250.
Oh well. Well, $299 for a PS4 Slim, 1 TB. So I lied. Wait, what was that? $279. Oh, and then Xbox.
I think that must have been during like the Christmas
It may
Black
have
Friday
been.
deal. They were all down really cheap.
Well, wait, is this the all digital edition?
It doesn't say all digital.
Sorry, I just Googled, or I just on Amazon typed in Xbox One S, and this is an Anthem bundle. On Prime, you can get it for $249 right now.
Yeah, so the cost of this all digital edition, you get Anthem, people who are enjoying Anthem, and it's got the box on there, so it's not.
And it's the digital. I mean,
it comes with what, a month of gold.
Yeah, EA access
and EA access for $249. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that would be the one to get to me.
Yeah, because now you got your 4K Blu-ray drive. So
Right. So anyway,
again, for Xbox, I think this is a miss. They really could have knocked it out of the park here. Target could have put these up by the front register and like, hey, get an Xbox, digital only. You have to download all your games, but you can get it for $150.
mm-hmm.
And or $250, and here's a year of gold and Game Pass, our Game Pass Ultimate. So
Yeah.
I think that's just a miss, but
But that's the Who, What, and Where this week. This is our second time recording this episode, so we're just gonna skip on to the new releases for next week. We've been sick as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we meant to ask how you were doing at the beginning of the episode, but this time. But Josh has been really sick. I'm just recovering from being sick, allergies and just sinus, not infectious or anything like that.
mm-hmm.
But so we're really tired. So we haven't been playing games a whole lot. We've been relaxing and watching TV. But Days Gone's coming out soon.
Days Gone, Katana Zero, I'm excited about. So we'll have more to talk about as far as games that we're playing coming up. I'm playing a couple mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Davis at IGN on GameScoop, he was talking about this game called Gumballs and Dungeons. And it's this weird, like, it's kind of like a roguelike. You press tiles and you get like items, and then you'll press a tile and like an enemy is behind it and you'll hit it, and
That's weird.
It's kind of neat. And you go, there's like several floors. There's an endless mode, and
Okay.
it's kind of fun. It's free to play. And
I've been playing Word Domination. Actually, I'm kind of getting tired of word games right now because my brain is fried. But
yeah,
Word Domination is a 5-turn Scrabble, where the goal is to dominate the board with words.
mm-hmm.
And turns out I'm actually better at that than I am Scrabble or Words with Friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think because you don't. I don't want to say I'm a quick thinker. I can't always find the best words, but when you only have like 60 seconds to come up with a word, you get these
Under pressure.
Yeah, I'm good at under pressure, and also you get these cards, these bonus cards that give you power ups, give you more points per tile or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 3 really good ones that I can change all my words or my letters. I can change all the points twice on them. And so usually I'm just cheating.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week, God Trigger.
God's Trigger.
God's Trigger. PC, PS4, Xbox One on April 18th.
By the way, this is the games coming out this week.
Yeah, this is the game's coming out. This is the game's coming out next week. God's Trigger, PC, PS4, Xbox One on April 18th.
We have Katana Zero on PC and Switch on April 18th.
Our World is Ended on PS4 and Switch on April 18th.
And Mortal Kombat 11, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, April 23rd.
And I don't know if I said this last week. I don't think I did. But today, or Tuesday, yesterday, the Dreams Creator Beta, or Creator Studio game, the $30 early access, it has been released. And people are really excited about that. I wish I was.
And the news we saw before redoing this episode.
Oh, yes.
The big news is Joker from Persona 5 is fighting his way into Super Smash Brothers Ultimate tomorrow, which is the day you're hearing this.
Yeah. So I read up a little bit on it. I didn't put it in because I forgot. But so obviously you're getting Joker.
Yeah.
Morgana has like a sidekick appearance. At least I don't know if it's a Spawn, but he's there. Mementos is the stage.
Is the world.
Awesome. And Arsene is there as well.
Well, yeah,
like that makes an appearance. And then of course, signature music. It didn't say what song. It was.
It's got to be either.
It's got to be the tune of Last Surprise when you when you get into a battle.
Yeah. Yeah. Never see it coming.
All right, that's the show for the second time tonight.
We have audio.
We have audio. We made sure of that. Thank you for watching. If you want to be a part of the show, please write into weekly@waregaming.com. You can check us out on youtube.com and on podcast services. You can tweet to us at weekly and at waregaming_. You can tweet to me at speaknicklish.
And you can tweet to me at Jaws1015. And until next week, say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, Nick.
See ya.